Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and since the MCU disappeared quicker than Scarlet Witch's accent, a lot of us have been waiting with bated breath for the arrival of Wandavision. It's finally out, and hate it or love it, the show has a lot of questions hanging over it. What's going on with the weird sitcom world? Who are the mysterious Watchers? And what exactly is going on with the townsfolk that seem to be trapped in this weird reality? Well, throughout this video, we're not going to be answering those, but we're going to be discussing our thoughts and theories on Catherine Hahn's character, who we now know is called Agnes. There's a lot to go through, but there will be some spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out the first 2 episodes, then I highly recommend that you check out now. We will be discussing some aspects of the comics too in our theories, so this is a warning for your kids out there, yeah? I don't want to hear nothing about there being spoilers. Now make sure you subscribe to the channel for breakdowns on the show every week, and please click the thumbs up button if you'd like vision down your throat whilst you are choking too. What? Anyway, with that out of the way, thank you for clicking this, now let's get into the video. Okay, so up top I did cover some of these details in my breakdown of episode 1 and 2, so if you've already watched that and want to skip ahead, then I've left time codes below. However, if you haven't seen it, then as mentioned earlier, Agnes is a sort of nosy neighbour who seems to know all the ins and outs of the town. She's close with the mailman, outlines the way that the city works, and just seems to be too familiar with Wanda, almost like she's keeping an eye on her. Now though we don't know exactly who she is, the character has appeared in several of the trailers, and in the first full-length one we saw her revealing to Vision that he was in fact dead. The character cackled about it, and clearly knew about the outside world, and though she could have easily been awoken by the Mind Stone, her costume hinted at something else. Ever since the first look at the trailer dropped, I've always speculated that she's actually Agatha Harkness, a superpowered witch that exists in the Marvel Universe. A lot of people have said I don't know that, but actually I'm the only one who knows. And also the other millions of people that said the exact same thing. Now, Hannah's kept pretty tight-lipped about it, but there are several clues that point towards it being the case. Now firstly is the witch costume, which, don't need to reach into your mind to tell you the connection there. Throughout the preview of the Halloween episode, we did see that Wanda and Vision were dressed up in their comic book accurate costumes, and if this motif is anything to go by, then it's telling us exactly who these people really are, and therefore it could be assumed that Agnes herself is a witch. The second clue is her name itself. Now if you take the first syllable of Agatha, which gives you Ag, and take the last syllable of Harkness, which gives you Ness, smush them together with a nice little fading graphic, and you have the name Agnes. Thirdly is the character's design herself, and throughout not only all of the posters, but the episodes themselves, we've seen her wearing a brooch that is very similar to the one that Agatha dons in the comics. Now though this may be a bit of a reach, the item of clothing clearly bears some importance. As for Agatha herself, she dates back millennia and was a witness to the fall of Rome, Atlantis, and a lot more. Atlantis of course plays a big part in the MCU, and the fact that the character is here could actually usher in Namor at some point, but that's a topic for another video. Now Agatha was first introduced as a nanny that looked after Reed and Sue Richards' child. However, she soon showed there was more to her than meets the eye, and it wasn't too long before she unveiled her incredible magical gifts and abilities. We know that coming in episode 3 that the pregnant Wanda will likely give birth to some children, and therefore if Agnes becomes a babysitter to them, it ties back to her original introduction in the comics. Agatha is able to tap into the universe's infinite store of ambient magical energy, and similar to say the Sorcerer Supreme, she can pull things across into reality and manipulate them. Throughout the years she's used these gifts to form magical energy bolts, create shields, and a lot more. Agatha can trick people with vast and expansive illusions, and the character can also teleport across the earth with ease. Now Agatha can do this through either physical projection or the astral plane, and therefore there's a lot going on beneath the surface. Because the character can tap into the universe's infinite store of magic, similar to the Sorcerer Supreme, she has remained ageless across the millennia. I have no idea why she chose to stay in the body of an old woman, but they could easily carry that across to Catherine Hahn and just say that the MCU's Agatha tapped into her abilities at a much younger age. Now this age thing does cause some issues, well not really issues, but originally in the comics Agatha's main weakness was that because of her old age she was pretty useless in hand-to-hand situations. Therefore them changing that here does take away one of her biggest downfalls, and in my opinion it makes the character a lot more threatening. Now in the source material, though she relied heavily on magic, she was easy to tire out, but if she is indeed much younger, it could change things up. However, the Agnes that we see could indeed be a mask, and in the case of Steve Rogers, we know that the studio can convincingly age up characters, so it could be revealed later down the line that she's an old woman masquerading as a young one. Now, one of the more interesting aspects about the character is that she did become somewhat of a teacher to Wanda, and she's helped her to develop her abilities. Because the way Wandavision throws you in at the deep end, we're still unsure whether she went to Agnes for help, or if she was taken by her. I don't know, look. However, going with the former theory over the latter, Wanda could have explained the situation with her losing vision, and Agatha may have helped her to create a pocket dimension in which she was able to live out her fantasies. There really are a lot of options, but it's clear that the agents of S.W.O.R.D. believe that something has been done to her, which is why they send radio messages asking who it could be. Now back to the babysitting thing, and this pregnancy came as a bigger shock than I was to my dad, and it just came completely out of nowhere. This could indeed be tying into the comics, as in them, Wanda has kids through magical means. It seems all fine and dandy until Agatha reveals that the babies are in fact carrying the souls of demons, and therefore, they're not really the kids that you want, are they? If we look at how this ties into the overall aesthetic of the show, then it could lend weight to the rumours that Mephisto, aka the Devil, will be revealed as being behind everything. Though we don't know this for definite yet, it has long been speculated that Agnes is working with the character, and this would not only tie into the demon's souls, which he will clearly want to bring to Earth, but there are other little details here and there. Now shoutouts to Space Rogue and Leonard PCOA on my last video for pointing out that Dottie and Agnes have a conversation in which they talk about the following. The devil's in the detail, which is what Dottie says, and Agnes replies with, "That's not the only place he is." So great impressions, and this could be hinting to the audience that he is indeed lurking in the background, and the villain could have sought out Agnes in order to have her go to Wanda under the guise of a tutor, simply wishing to help her master her abilities. After showing her how to create a pocket dimension, the pair then may have enacted a plan so that they could get her pregnant in order to bring the souls of the demons to life. Because Vision can move at super speed whilst Wanda possesses magical abilities, these kids would be powerful allies to have as part of Mephisto's army, and that could be pointing to the larger plot at play. Now for the moment, these are all of course thoughts and theories, but I do think there is enough reason there to dive into them. Obviously let me know what you think, as we've still got 8 weeks ahead of us in the show, and there's a lot to digest from it. Now don't forget that on the 30th of January we're giving away 3 copies of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings 4K box set to our subscribers. All you have to do to be with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the theories. The links to our socials are in the description, and you can also support the channel by clicking the join button, and as a thank you, you get videos like this early. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the first 2 episodes, which will be linked below. We go over all the Easter eggs and things you missed, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. With that out of the way, thank you for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.